What an amazing trading week we had last week, and we are looking to continue this amazing streak going with this weekly Forex forecast. Let's begin here with the US dollar index. So as we revisit the weekly chart here on the DXY, we can see that, remember, we contacted this weekly demand again at 101.118, but it was tested once, twice, three times, came in for that fourth test, tested very low here into the zone, and we pushed right out of it. This was not what I expected to happen. As you can see, the last 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks here on the DXY, we have seen nothing but strength. It does not mean that the DXY is going to go all the way up to like 110 again, but it is definitely strength that we cannot deny here on the DXY. If you look at on a daily chart here, something significant has taken place. We actually broke supply, created demand, reacted off the demand, and pushed back up. And now the downward trend line, it is pretty much safe to say that that downward trend line has officially been removed. But what we could be seeing taking place here on the DXY is a potential trap situation where, okay, traders are acknowledging we have this overall downward trend line here, and they are seeing that we are breaking out of the trend line, and they might be thinking, okay, it's time to, hop on longs or maybe hop on shorts a little bit too early. And what I've noticed right away at 103, this daily supply zone right here. Now this supply zone definitely could break, and with that weekly demand being in control all the way down here, this could definitely be the start of that bigger move in the DXY to go up to the 110 areas. It's definitely possible. Who knows what's going to take place in the long term? All I know in the short term is that we have that what we are breaking out of, we're breaking out of this downward trend line, but we are breaking out of that right into a daily supply zone. So it's definitely something to consider. So if we do push into this supply zone, it could be a time where we see the DXY fall or struggle to continue to go up those days when we do contact this daily supply. So definitely keep the daily supply on your chart at 103 there to see what happens around that daily supply zone. If we do break out of this supply zone like that, to me, that would be a very strong indication that, hey, the US dollar is probably going to go back up, and then at that point, I would feel comfortable looking for those swing trading longs. But as far as day trading goes, when we do contact this supply, it could be an area where we look for those day trading shorts in the US dollar pairs. On to the forecast for the Euro US dollar. The past week, the banks got rid of 12,000 longs, and they also added 10,225 short positions. Obviously, just the inverse of the DXY here. Really struggling around this downward trend line here. Very difficult to tell where price is going to go, but just like I said, on the opposite of the DXY, we do have the daily demand here, so same kind of idea. If we do contact this daily demand on the euro at 1.09, this would be an area where you could look for those day trading longs in the euro. So as far as day trading longs, even swing trading longs, I definitely think waiting for this daily demand zone is the best option. Now, long term, if we do push up to this supply on the daily chart at 1.12, it could be an area where we also look to take in shorts. But if you're going to view it on the daily chart here, what you could be trying to do, what you could be trying to accomplish is essentially buy low down here at demand and try to sell at supply up here. So you could be trying to take the euro from demand to supply. We could be trying to get this move. And that's personally what I'm most likely going to be doing as well. I'll have to see what happens as we contact this daily area demand. And on the lower time frames, on the 4-hour chart, we did have a 4-hour downtrend here. We just peaked above it. Couldn't quite contact this supply at 111. But in the meantime, I think the dollar looks like, the euro looks like it is going to continue to break this low here. We'll have to see what happens. But if we do, break this low and we have supply, we push up to this supply, we could also see move off of that. So once we break this low, or if new 15-minute or 5-minute supply zones are formed, I think it's fine to continue to trade with that downward trend here. The overall downward trend at least on the 4-hour chart to trade the retracement down to daily demand at 1.09. Forecast for gold. The past week, the banks got rid of 10,139 longs, and they also added 11,800 short contracts. Looking at the weekly chart, revisiting this one again, you guys know me if you've been following my forecast for a while now. I've been patiently waiting as a swing trader for this weekly demand. You guys know I caught this move from down here to up here. Now I'm trying to catch this move to all-time highs potentially. So that is what I am personally going to be trying to look for in gold. Now, if we're going to push all the way down to 1870, 1880 area, who knows? But that is what I am waiting for. And what I was telling the Diamond members is with with the profit margin down to weekly demand, we could have definitely been looking for shorts. And as you can see right here, I called out this 4-hour area of supply for the Diamond members in the daily market breakdown video that I do every day for the Diamond members. So that is from that video, what a trade, and it was actually a trade off of a 1-hour zone too. So it could have been a point where you actually took the 1-hour supply zone right here inside of that overall 4-hour supply zone to kind of tighten up your entry. But what a trade from there. Just a beautiful almost 5-to-1 trade so far on gold. And if you want to get access to the daily market breakdown video and much more, like video lessons A to Z, COT Report Spreadsheet, and much more in the membership, check it out. Links in the description to the Diamond membership down below. These are a bunch of different trades that we took this week that you can kind of go off of. So check it out. Links in the description down below. Be happy to see all serious traders join the team. But as far as gold goes now and how to trade it, I'll be straight up honest with you guys. As we contact the lows here on the daily chart, it's a time where I think we will break these lows to push down to the weekly demand at 1870, something like this. I think that is what's going to take place. That is what I'm feeling like is going to happen. So I don't really want to be, just jumping the gun and getting in long. Yes, we are at some lows where we could see price start to react up, and we definitely could see, gold have a few good days, even a good week. But ultimately, I think we are headed down to 1870 and then having that rally. And it's also a time where we are at the lows. We could have a rally up, so we don't really want to be shorting either. So as far as gold goes this week, it might be a time to kind of either wait for maybe this low to be removed, pierce below it, pull back to a supply zone that we can get a day trade short in or something like that. So as far as gold goes, I'm personally just waiting right now to see what happens and see if we can continue to break down. But as long as we have the H4 and the H1 downtrends in play, that means that day trading shorts are 100% on the table down to 1880 in the 1870 area. On to the forecast for the USDJPY. The past week, the banks added 250 longs and they got rid of 3,714 shorts. As you can see, pretty bullish week here in the USD yen. We have the weekly supply at 146.6. That is where I'm expecting price to go. Now, I am expecting to see definitely a negative reaction off of this zone. I am not saying this zone is going to be responsible for pushing price, all the way down here, but I definitely think this is a weekly supply zone where we will see a reaction off of. So to be very simple, if you are day trading long, if you're swing trading long right now, if you are in longs from down here, I would certainly look to tighten up your stop if your stop's in the green, or look to take profit as we come in contact with this weekly supply at 146.6. And what that means is we could actually flip to a potential short trade. Now, the short trade would be kind of against the momentum, so we definitely want to be doing that with caution. So let me go down to some of the lower time frames and see what's going on. If you look at a daily chart here, you can see my alert has not been triggered yet, but I am simply waiting for this daily uptrend to continue, which will give me a signal, hey, this thing's looking strong. But remember, do not get fooled by that, where we could break above the high, but we are breaking right into that weekly supply zone where we could actually see a downward move. So how do we actually go about and trade the USD yen? Well, if you look at a 1-hour chart, we have this beautiful 1-hour area of demand right here. This is a zone I called out for the Diamond members as well. Unfortunately, the little 5-minute demand zone inside of it, we wicked right through, but would have been like almost a 8-to-1 trade off that 5-minute zone. But still, at the end of the day, 1-hour demand holding pretty well. Not really a time where I just want to be chasing price, so we definitely need to be trading with caution right now. Unfortunately, the demand zone has already been tested, so there's almost nothing for me to report here as far as 1-hour demand goes. If you look on a 4-hour chart here, we do have 4-hour demand here. Now, I'm not going to get into too much detail of why this demand zone is not great. For one reason, it's not the whole reason, is the huge wick basing. I am not a fan of that whatsoever. So if price does pull back to this demand, or really anywhere in this whole general area right here, this could just be an area where you look for day trading confirmation trades like that on lower time frames, or just focus on the 4-hour demand and look for longs off that demand at 143.8. So that is the USD yen. Not really super clear as far as zones that we can potentially trade, but remember, with that weekly supply and coming into control, we're definitely probably going to see price start to turn around, and we could actually potentially get a short trade. So make sure you guys stay tuned for next week's weekly Forex forecast, where we could potentially be looking for shorts coming off of USD yen. GBPUSD forecast. The past week, the banks got rid of 8,936 longs, and they also got rid of 6,394 short positions. Looking at a weekly chart here, first, remember, we have weekly demand at 1.25. Now, we can use, why am I interested in this weekly demand? Because, well, we have clearly seen the pound start to drop the past couple weeks here, and we are simply looking for that target. Where is price? When is this? Because if you look here, the overall momentum is up, and I think right now we're just in a temporary downward pressure in the overall trend, just like we were here, just like we were here, just like we were here. So I'm trying to figure out where is it going to come to an end. And I personally think we will push down to 1.25. That's where I think it will come to an end if we can get down to there. So that's why I wanted to point it out on the weekly chart here, where hey, we do have profit margin to the downside here on the GBPUSD. And that is also why I pointed out these 2 4-hour supply zone trades for the diamond members in the daily market breakdown video. So we had 1 and 2 supply zones. I'll mark them out, 1 and 2. Now we had a beautiful reaction off the first one here, 1, 2, 3, almost 4 reactions off of what we did essentially. But beautiful trades off of these zones, but really the real trade came from the one at the extreme. We wicked right into the zone, boom, right off of it, almost zero drawdown, and that is the power of supply and demand. I don't mean to keep showing you guys these trades that I'm calling out because it feels kind of gross doing that, but it is the truth. It is the power of understanding supply and demand analysis and how to actually do it. And a lot of it isn't just zones. It's understanding this profit margin, like I just pointed out on the weekly chart, understanding that daily demand was just removed, which signifies we could be going lower. That's why these short trades were high odds situations, and that's why I pointed them out for the members as well. So just wanted to bring that up as well. And as far as trading the pound goes now, look, guys, the trade has already taken place, the high quality trade. If you want to chase price short down here, you can. It doesn't mean you can't. If you look here on the 1-hour chart, there's just a lot of sideways price action. And we're currently reacting off of 1-hour demand. Right now, this is a decent demand zone, not one I'd feel comfortable buying based on the higher time frames, but I'll be very, very clear. If we do, well, let me just see here. So we actually had little supplies on here, demand, and then that left us with some supply here. This is just the way I do my chain analysis here to come up with the best zones that I possibly can. So what I'd be waiting for here on the pound for shorts, I personally want to see this demand removed, not only because it's demand, but because we've reacted off of it and it's been proven demand, which is even better. So if we can get something like this to take place, leaving us with 1-hour supply, that would be your potential trade like that. That's really all that I'd be doing here in the pound, because yes, there is profit margin to the downside, but we do have some demand in control. We could see this thing rally up, so we need to see the demand kind of removed first before we just hop in short. So just kind of waiting on the 1-hour chart to see what happens, so we can potentially get a short trade down to the 1.25 area at that weekly area of demand. All right, on to the USDCAD forecast. The past week, the banks added 191 longs and they got rid of 6,797 shorts. Looking at the weekly chart here, the weekly demand in control pushing up. We definitely could see this thing start to slow down, especially as we push towards this kind of rally-based drop-based drop area of supply. On to the daily chart here, kind of just waiting for that that pullback down in demand, because right now we have daily supply, daily demand, and we're kind of just sitting in the middle. Not only that, we are sitting in the middle right at this trend line. That is why we have seen such wiki price action here in the USDCAD. That's personally why I haven't really been trading it, and it's not really been on my watch list because of that whippy price action. But with the weekly demand in control, we definitely want it to be favoring longs. That's why we are seeing demand zones from down here that I had being respected, demand zones up here being respected. That is why we are seeing these zones being respected. Even right here, there was a little buying area that was respected as well. So just, again, the power of the supply and demand. But remember, since that downward trend line is in control right now, and we are kind of expecting that overall pullback down to daily demand, let me just get a price for you guys. The daily demand down here at 1.322, that is what I'm waiting to see. That is what I want to see for swing trading opportunities. I'm just waiting for that daily demand to be hit at 1.325. Now, if you look at a 4-hour chart, that means we'd be getting a pullback, all the way down to here. I think it's definitely possible, and that is what I'm waiting for. That's what I feel most comfortable doing. Now, it doesn't mean you have to do that either. If you want and you think, hey, I actually want to trade short down to the daily demand, if that is going to take place, what we need to see first is something like this. So if we do get a push down on the 1 hour chart where we remove this low, what that means is we'd have a 1 hour downtrend, and that would be evidence that, hey, we are probably going to be pushing back down to that daily demand. At that point, this would be enough evidence that I would need to say, hey, maybe we could actually start to day trade short to the downside. But until then, I am just not seeing any reason to be shorting just yet. We actually have demand down here on the 1 hour chart at about 1.34. That could be an area where you look for day trading longs in as well, but confirmation will definitely be needed. If you don't know what confirmation is, check out my trading tips playlist. Links in the description down below. It's free and it's on YouTube. On to the forecast for the Aussie US dollar. The past week, the banks added 14,479 long positions, and they also added 5,879 short positions. Looking at a weekly chart here, we'll do a top down. I pointed out this weekly demand inside of overall monthly demand a long time ago on the Aussie US dollar. All the way since back here, we got the reaction off the weekly demand at the upside, and now we are coming back in for a second test. This makes me very, very nervous about the Aussie US dollar. It doesn't mean, hey, just short, this thing's blowing right through, because I think we will struggle to break through this area. I don't think it's all downside from here just like this. I don't think that's what's going to take place. I think we will see some whippy price action, something like this, where maybe it takes a while to break down. But I think that is what we are seeing, especially since essentially this weekly demand, it's held, but it's coming in for a second test. And who knows, maybe we're coming in for a second test because there's some unfilled buy orders down here and they need to be filled, and we need to push up price from there. So just kind of some bigger picture perspective here on the Aussie US dollar. Now we are to this daily demand zone here. It was an area where we actually got a 5-to-1 trade to the upside off of this zone. I'm pretty sure some of the members did as well. So congratulations to them. But on to the daily chart here. We are in the daily demand, and it's been tested, pushed out of it, coming in for a second test. Not looking too great. But if you want, you still could be looking for longs to trade up to daily supply. Now, if we pull up to this daily supply and you think, hey, the Aussie dollar is going to continue to go down, I think that, you know, the last time we'll be up here, then this would be your daily supply where you could look for short trades off of that daily supply zone. But I know you guys are most likely on the lower time frames for trading. So how do we go about trading it? Well, as far as the 1 hour chart for confirmation longs, if you think we're going to go up, I need to see this take place. So we need to see, well, we'll ignore this one for now, but this would be the closest confirmation here. If we get this zone removed, leaving us with 1 hour demand, that would be your trade right there on the Aussie. Now, if you think we're going to push down, like I said, you could really treat both of these 1 hour supply zones as your curve zones, as your higher time frames, and be looking for the day trading confirmation trades on 5-minute charts coming off of these supply zones here on the Aussie US dollar. So that is if you think it's going to go down. Remember, trading short, we need to be trading with caution. With the daily demand in control and the weekly and the monthly demand in control, I have to say that the Aussie is most likely going to be going up. That is definitely my perspective. But as far as swing trading goes, I'm not seeing anything yet. We need to wait for confirmation on the 1 hour chart. That's why I'm saying for day trading, yes, we could get scalps because we have a 1 hour downtrend. So we could definitely get scalp trades off of some of these 1 hour supply zones here on the Aussie US dollar. USDCHF forecast. The past week, the banks got rid of 2,085 longs and they added 1,210 shorts. Weekly chart here. I think we could be pushing up to this weekly supply at 0.89. Now, when we hit this supply, I am definitely going to be looking for short trades coming off of that weekly supply area. Now, how do we go about trading this one now? Well, the 1 hour demand I wanted to point out for you guys, I was kind of hoping we wouldn't contact it so I could have a potential setup to show you guys, but we did react off that zone to the upside right now. So the trade's kind of already taken place. But one thing I noticed is this 1 hour supply zone here. Not only is it supply, we've reacted off of it once, twice, 3, 4 times now. So with that being said, it's very, very strong supply. So how do we trade this now since the demand zone has already taken place? And we think we could push up to the weekly supply. We want to potentially be getting those day trading longs, which I understand. Well, right now, I would be waiting for the removal of this supply. If we're left with 1 hour demand, just like we were down here, that would be your potential trade off that 1 hour demand zone. So that's really all I see here on the USD Swiss. I see no reason in shorting it right now because of the sideways price action and the momentum on the daily chart. So for shorts, we need to wait for a 1 hour downtrend that's clean looking first for shorts. So like I said, with demand zones in control, we just kind of want to wait for that 1 hour supply zone to be removed, so then we can look for longs, up to the 0.89 area at that weekly demand, at that weekly supply, where we would look to take profit and switch to short. Last but not least, we are on to crude oil. The banks added 15,261 longs, and they also added 1,192 shorts. Weekly chart here, remember, coming off the weekly demand. And really, you want to be trading from demand to supply, and that's what we have been doing. We've been trading from demand to supply on oil here, and we still have profit margin to 87.25. I think we could definitely still push up to there. So I think longs are definitely still on the table here on oil. Now, definitely, I would prefer, that overall pullback in the daily chart, something like that, where we have a clean daily trend, and that would make me feel more comfortable instead of just chasing this 90-degree price action. So really not in love with oil right now. But at the end of the day, we have been catching trades on the 1 hour chart here. This was a 1 hour demand zone trade that I pointed out for the Diamond members as well in the daily market breakdown video. Basically almost a 4-to-1 trade right now on oil, still running, but I definitely would have been taking profits now. So anyways, new 1 hour demand below 81.74. Not the highest out situation, but could be an area where you look for longs coming off of that zone. But remember, like I said, when price action is like this on the daily chart, it's like almost 90 degrees. We're kind of expecting that pullback. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but you would expect something like that to take place to kind of refresh, regroup, and then push up. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for in oil. Doesn't mean, like I said, it doesn't mean like it's going to happen, but when we can acknowledge that that is what should happen, and we can acknowledge that, hey, chasing price right now might not be the best idea, we can say, hey, maybe this 1 hour zone is very risky, and we could still look for longs in that zone, but maybe we lower our risk or look for confirmation, like I said. So take this zone with a grain of salt, especially this one as well. It's kind of like this one as well, where not the best looking zone, but definitely a zone we could see a move off of those. So oil definitely bullish. Just want to wait for those pullbacks on the lower time frames, even the higher time frames, to continue to trade long up to, like I said, $88 a barrel, up to weekly supply, where we could maybe even flip to potential shorts. I hope you guys found this weekly Forex forecast helpful. If it did, I would really appreciate a like and a subscribe if you are new to the channel. And as always, check out the YouTube and Patreon membership if you want to get my daily chart analysis and much, much more.